Hi, my name is Amanda, and welcome back to Unlocking Scripture with Amanda. Today we'll continue our Bible study with Genesis chapter 38, and we are continuing from where Joseph was now sold to the captain of the guards in Egypt. Okay, we're talking about Judah's descendants, chapter 38. Okay, and it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren. So he moved away from his brethren and turned in to a certain Adulamite whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite. Now, you know, they're not supposed to be marrying the people that are surrounding them in the land of Canaan. But Judah's looking at one of the daughters of the Canaanites, whose name was Shuhah. And he took her and went unto her. So he married a Canaanite woman. Okay. And also just be aware, of course, when he went away, now he lived amongst the Canaanites. So he took a Canaanite woman. Okay. 3. And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name Er. Er means awake. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan, which means strong. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah, which means a petition. And he was at Shazeb when she bared him. Just saying where she was when she bared him. Okay. All right. Tamar, wife of but just to finish off with 1 through 5, Judah lived in a town called Adullam amongst the Canaanites. Okay. And it was, they called the area, it was in the lowlands of the land of Canaan. Okay. All right. Tamar, wife of Ur. 6. And Judah took a wife for Ur, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. So Tamar is the wife he took for Ur, his firstborn. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of God, and the Lord slew him. So all we know here in verse 7 is that he was wicked in the sight of God, and he was killed because of that. Okay. Verse 8. And Judah said to Onan, that's the other son of his, go in unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. Now you're wondering, like, why is he telling his other son now to go sleep and marry the dead brother's wife and raise up seed to him? So the custom was for the Israelites, if a brother died, the other brother was supposed to do the duty of sleeping with the wife, and when she had a child, that would continue the dead son's seed. That child would be considered the bloodline of the dead brother. That was just their custom. Okay, let's look at a precept. Deuteronomy 25, chapter 25, verse 5. Maybe can give us a little more understanding of what's happening here. Deuteronomy 25, verse 5. Can you read that?
Verse 5. If two brothers are living together on the same property and one of them dies without a son.
Right there. If one of them dies without a son,
his widow may not be married to anyone from outside the family.
There you go.
Instead, her husband's brother should marry her and have intercourse with her to fulfill the duties of a brother-in-law.
Okay. It was their custom to continue the dead brother's seed through the living brother. And that child would not be the living brother's child. It would be considered the dead brother's child. Okay. All right. Let's go back. 8. And Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother, not to yourself, to your brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. It will be his brother's. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. So to prevent his brother from having a seed, he spilled his seed. He ejaculated on the ground versus inside the woman. Okay, so he's being very deceitful. He did what they told him to do, but he was deceitful with it by spilling his seed on the ground. He didn't fulfill his duty. All right, 10. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord. So the father was angry about him not fulfilling his duty. Wherefore he slew him also. That's why he died. Okay. Now, verse 11, I'm going to have Marcus read it in NIV or NLT so you can better understand what comes next. Okay. Can you read that, please?
Verse 11. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, go back to your parents' home and remain a widow until my son Shelah is old enough to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
But Judah didn't really intend to do this because he was afraid Shelah would also die, like his two brothers. So Tamar went back to live in her father's home.
So 11 is telling you that Judah is trying to deceive Tamar. He has no intention of marrying her to the younger third brother like he's supposed to do. He right here, he thinks that for some reason that this third child is going to die too if he goes into Tamar. But he's being very deceitful. He's sending her back home just to be a widow. Okay. All right. 12. And in the process of time, the daughter of Shelah, Judah's wife, died. So Judah's wife died while all this was going on. That's all it's telling you. And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath. He and his friend Hira, the Adulamite. They call him Adulamite because it was in the land of Adullam. Okay. And again, his wife died. And again, Judah is being deceitful. He's trying to trap her into widowhood by never marrying her. And, he's just doing an injustice to her. And she'll have no future if she has no children and no husband. All right, 13. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goes up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garment off from her, took off her grieving clothes, and covered her with a veil, covered her face with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw, this telling you the reason why she did all this. For she saw that Shelah was grown. So the younger boy was already grown and was not given unto him, and she was not given unto him to wife. So Judah is just doing his thing. He know what he promised her, and he's not doing it. He's just letting her sit at home with her family, and she can be a widow till she die. He's doing her a great injustice. Okay. 15. And Judah saw her. Remember, she was covered up. He saw her. He thought her to be a harlot, so he didn't know who she was. She's sitting in the doorway like waiting for a man to come by. So he assumed she was a harlot because she had covered her face. So that's what prostitutes used to do. 16. And he turned into her by the way and said, go to, I pray thee, let me come in to thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. So he didn't know. He's saying, hey, can we get together? Let's get together, you and me. And she said, what will thou give me that thou mayest come into me? What you gonna give me for sleeping with me if I let you sleep with me? 17. And he said, I will give thee a kid from the flock. And she said, will thou give me a pledge till thou send it? So will you give me something, a pledge of yours, until you send the kid from the flock? And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet. So the signet is the seal of the family, is his seal. Thy signet and thy bracelet. That's a cord that they wear around their, of course, their wrist. And thy staff that is in thy hand. And he gave it her and came unto her, and she conceived by him. So he gave her those things, and she got pregnant when they slept together. Okay. And the things that she asked for, these are like personal identifiers. It's like if you gave somebody your driver's license, your credit card, and your signature stamp. Okay. You could identify who these things belong to. All right. 19. And she arose and went away and laid by her veil from her. So took off her veil and put on the garments of her widowhood. Okay. And Judah sent the kid, because remember he said, hey, to sleep with you, I'm going to send you a goat. But she said, hey, now until you send the goat, hey, give me all these things that identify you. Okay. 20. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend, the Adulamite, to receive his plague from the woman's hands. But he found her not. So Judah get with his friend, his friend in it with him. So, and say, hey, go take this kid there for me. I owe her. Go take care of this for me. All right. 21. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place at all. Like, we don't have any harlots here. We don't have prostitutes sitting around here. So I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. 23. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. Verse 24. And it came to pass about 3 months later that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, has played the harlot. And also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. Okay. Can you believe that? So Judah, the one who goes a sleeping with harlots, said, bring her forth and let her be burned. Okay. So Judah just forgetting about his sexual immorality. All right. And he's judging her about what she did. Judah is being such a big hypocrite right now. Okay. 25. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, sent word to him, saying, by the man who these things are, am I with child? And she said, discern, look at them, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet, the bracelet, and the staff. So she sent word and those things that he gave her, his identifiers, and say, go back and let him know that the father of my baby is the person who gave me these things. Wow. Okay. 26. And Judah acknowledged them and said, she has been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son, and he knew her again no more. So right there, he realized that she has been more righteous than me. She did all of this because I didn't do right by her by giving her my son like I was supposed to. I am to blame. The unrighteousness is in me, not her. He should have said, woe am I, a hypocrite. Okay. All right, let's move down to 27. And it came to pass in the same time of her travail that behold, twins were in her womb. So she didn't have a man to have kids with. And when she does get pregnant, she's blessed with two babies. 28. And it came to pass when she travailed that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread. So the baby reached out of the womb with his hand, and the midwife put a red ribbon around the hand. Okay. So it said, and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, this came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, how hast thou broken forth? So he didn't. The one who reached his hand out first didn't come out first. So I'm continuing. How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore, his name was called Pharez, which means breach. Okay, that's the first one. And afterwards came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand. And his name was called Zerah. And Zerah means rising. Okay. I want to make you aware here, the child that came out first, Pharez. Pharez is the ancestor of King David and Christ. So their bloodline came from Pharez. All right. So that was important to know, and a lot of people don't know that. And that will end chapter 38. And what I got out of chapter 38 is, you know, all the things that Judah did, even though he was wicked, sleeping with a harlot. And then when he found out his daughter-in-law was pregnant, he wanted to burn her. So, but God had it planned for her to have those children, which is the start of the bloodline of King David and Jesus Christ. So God's plans cannot be stopped by human sin. And you'll see that played out over and over again. Okay. So again, this is the end of 38 Genesis. And I look forward to seeing you for Genesis 39. You have a wonderful and blessed day. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Bye.